Marvel Snap players, do you want the very best decks? This is the video for you. Today we're going to go over all the very best decks in Marvel Snap from the top minds in the game by the stats, and we're even going to give you quite a few sleeper lists. Let's get started by going over the S tier list of Marvel Snap. But first, if you'd like to win a free Jeff the Baby Dolphin, check the community post. We got to get rid of the last of our Jeffs before the season ends, so make sure that you sub, like, and comment, and go check to see if you happen to have won one by doing so already. Cool? Let's keep it going. Marvel Snap Zone is the home of the best written content Marvel Snap, obviously close close competition with fourthlocation.com, our friends Scott and Lauren. Marvel Snap Zone is fundamentally run at this point by Den Hearthstone, a legendary card game player. He uses the stats from the specific Marvel Snap Zone tracker and his own expertise to break down the top decks. Every Sunday, he releases a tier list. These are the S tier decks from Snap Zone. We will cover KM Best, Untapped, and then a bunch of sleeper decks as well. The first deck, a deck that's not really putting up stats anywhere but Marvel Snap Zone, although our good friend Regis Kilbin, what's up, Regis? Make sure you go check out his game. By the way, Regis created a game that is a blast. So, our good friend Regis just covered this deck. This is the top rated deck in Infinite right now. It is also the top rated deck on Marvel Snap Zone stats. This deck, if you don't remember, is from our friend and yours, Smiles of Snap Academy YouTube, Snap Academy YT, if you want to check it out. He's created a lot of meta decks. He's been actually busy and hasn't been doing quite as much lately, but this is an old ramp version of his deck. This one's really simple. You run a couple cheap things, right? You run literally 3 cheap cards. Actually, I think this is slightly off, even his older versions. And then ideally you're seeing Electro, right? If you see Electro, you're good to go. If you don't see Electro, you pass into Jubilee. And like if you as long as you see either Electro or Jubilee, you should be good to go. Because if you see Electro, now you're doing your Blink, Dragon Lord, War Machine type shenanigans. If you see Jubilee, Jubilee's gonna go get you a giant card, because this whole freaking deck is giant cards. Jubilee gets you a giant card, then you drop a Blink or a Dragon Lord or War Machine, and then you drop another giant card and you win. It's just pure stats. It says I am bigger than you, stop me. So go check this one out if you haven't played it. We'll be doing a full guide to this soon, although again, Regis Kilbin has a video on it. Next up, we have Super Giant Rocks. This is the deck that won the most recent Golden Gauntlet in the hands of our friend and yours, Unhelpful Yoda. Unhelpful Yoda is a brilliant, brilliant Marvel Snap player, generally around the top 10 to 20 of the Infinite leaderboard. He used this in the most recent Golden Gauntlet, and everyone knows about this, and it still wins a ton. I think this version is mildly different in that it runs a Scani Sun, but basically, Super Giant remains OP. Super Giant remains the ultimate combo breaker. If you're playing Super Giant against a deck like this, right, and they can't get their they go, oh no, how do I get my extra big card out? Or their one big card is taken out by a Negasonic. You just win. You play it against the Go Tall decks and Shadow King wins the game. You play it against combo stuff and you have the Cosmo. There's 1,000 ways to win with this list as long as you are good enough to know how to use Super Giant. This has been one of the highest deck list win rate decks in the game since it won that Golden Gauntlet, as top players are just absolutely rocking with this list. We continue on to the other Supergiant control. This is actually the older version of it, although an updated version. The older version ran a couple ones. This is similar to the W version, updated version of the W version, which he won the previous Golden Gauntlet, right? The big one. So this is yet another Supergiant control list. This one takes advantage of Master Older Maximus to use Ronin as your big card. They are otherwise the same list and have similar stats according to Marvel Snap Zone. I truly believe that this version is better. I think the early tempo tends to do more for the deck, as do the extra control pieces. But hey, there's something to say for having Killmonger on the list, and the sheer power of Maximus and Ronin are just genuinely big cards. The last S tier deck on Marvel Snap Zone is this. I want to say this is from our friend Unhelpful Yoda. Yo, Yoda, if you watch this, can you let me know in the comments if this is yours? In my head, this is yours. It also might be Ryan Wood, and if it's Ryan Wood, I'm going to feel really bad. Both of them sent me decks that looked. One sent me a Dracula version, one sent me a Quicksilver Domino version within like 2 days of each other when Ensabanur was relatively new during the Ensabanur season, and I can't remember which one sent me which, unfortunately. I'm going to give credit to Unhelpful Yoda, and I will apologize and thank Woody if it was Ryan. But this is just another ramp list, right? It's another ramp list. This one's slightly different. There is no Stardust in the meta. This one uses Quicksilver and Domino in the weirdest way possible to keep your stuff in the deck. You're not like skipping turns here. You're not passing. You're not doing nothing. You're going Quicksilver Domino, and then you're playing one of the threes. A Caliban that's going to be huge. Yeah, sure. A Debris that's going to fill the front lanes. Yeah, sure. Entrepreneur and Jubilee then ramp you. You can blink out of that Jubilee or play Dragon Lord after that Entrepreneur, and then you just drop whatever the biggest thing you have is. It's not complicated. It puts up a ton of points and it beats a lot of stuff. Everyone's being fancy. Snap Zone has sort of cut the baby in half and said no, 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 or I guess cut the knot, right? But has said no, 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 no. Instead, we're just going to like with that first and last list, just go way over the top. The big cards. The big cards still do the work. Stop. I'm not going to worry about your Shadow King or your Mobius or whether you have whatever you have. So really, really cool stuff. I'm very excited about the Snap Zone list this week. I don't always love it, and they deal with generally smaller sample sizes, but I think that ramp coming back is always the good sign of a good healthy meta. Oh no, there's one more. The Aurora deck. All right. I covered a bunch of tournament decks for the Power On Juneteenth tournament that Super Tech God hosted yesterday, as of recording yesterday. So Super Tech God, White Wayne Brady, ended up modding that whole thing. Tech ran it, and Power On, of course, helped out by Game On, which is the Super Tech God It's Guess gaming thing that they have going on where they do all the tournaments. So a version of this deck won, right? Like this is whether it's this exact 12 or not, I think this is the safest deck in Marvel Snap. If you just want to win games, if all you care about is winning games, this deck is A, relatively easy to use, and B, insanely strong. Venus turning Aurora into +3 is wild, but like so many things get better here. Your Zombie Mr. Fantastic gives +2 to everything. Your Awesome Andy is going to give +3 to two extra cards. Is it 3 or 4? Whatever. Yeah, it's 3. Your Herbie can get really huge, giving away all the extra power in various ways. Even the Rock gets one bigger. I lost a game to the Rock getting one bigger earlier was very annoying. Sam Wilson gets an extra one every time his shield moves. Drax gets an extra one. Iska gets an extra one. The Thing gets an extra one. That's wild, wild Venus value. And then the ones get even bigger when you Aurora. This is just the nastiest list right now, in my opinion. I think this is probably the single easiest top list to play and a clear, clear, clear S tier deck. I think the most of the others outside of the Supergiant stuff, the ramp stuff is early. It's early to call that truly S tier, and we're gonna need some more. But this deck is really, really disgusting, and I think this might be the best. Next up, we have Cambest, the king of the top of the Infinite Leaderboard. He's chilling usually around the top 20 to 70 in the Infinite Leaderboard, and he knows all the top players. His tier list has nothing to do with stats. We'll look at the really good stat tier list after this, but his tier list is just his opinion from being a top player. Let's take a look at first Fraud Watch, the deck he's had most success with lately, and his list is huge. His list is usually at most 4 decks that he thinks are S tier. It's going to be like 6. It's wild how open this metagame is. So he called this deck a fraud because he didn't think Victoria Hen and Sasquatch were very good. Then he won a ton of games with it and changed his mind. This list is basically about Majestic Wingbeat and Mother Ascani on Sasquatch, and then you can Moongirl that Sasquatch and sort of go off. There's other ways to win. There's other things to do here. Multiple Victoria Hands is great. Multiple Gambits is a worthy backup plan. But what you're really trying to do is make a billion Sasquatches and win. This deck folds like paper to an opposing Mobius. Fair warning, if your opponent has Mobius, you gon' die. But outside of that, it can beat almost anything. Just a million giant Sasquatches is a ton of points. The other of the top two, like above the fold decks he has, is the Butt Loki deck. This deck was, I believe, a Sizer at some point, but this one is from Butt created this list. This is the sort of Loki good stuff TO virus deck. This is wildly good. Basically, TO virus works amazingly with Loki. Getting -2 to all your cards is crazy. Sorry, Quinjet works amazingly with Loki is what I'm trying to say. Quinjet also works amazingly with TO virus. Getting your second and on TO virus down to 2 is great. Snow Guard gives you access to a way to beat Zombie Galacti because it's everywhere with magic, right? Your Iron Patriot and Mirage cards are further discounted by Quinjet. Mobius helps you beat stuff like the previous deck. Gambit helps you beat the little stuff. This deck is nasty and it has play for fundamentally everything. It is hurt by Mobius, right? It can be beat by Mobius, but it's not necessarily killed by Mobius in the way you think it is, because just playing things at cost is kind of powerful for this list. All right. Cam also posted his stats with these, which is a ridiculous number of games. This man plays so much more Marvel Snap than I do. It is wild. I play like 30 games with the deck, and he's playing like 70 games with the deck. He's playing like double the Snap I am. That's again crazy. Although it's his full time job, and I have a different full time job, right? Different couple full time jobs, whatever. Neither here nor there. Fraud Watch, he's got a 60% win rate and 130 cubes in 70 games, which is a great rate. And then less cubes by a lot with the Loki deck, but a 70% win rate. So that is completely huge. We're going to talk about win versus cube rate later on, but as far as what we want to use to count, Snap Zone explicitly uses win rate. Explicitly uses cube rate, while most top players will tell you win rate matters more, because in most cases, because cube rate is very, very dependent on the player. It's dependent on who's doing what in the game and what's happening. These lists are extremely strong, right? Like he's winning a ton of games, but these are technical. I like mid-range lists of Marvel Snap. Although again, the Moon Girl thing, right, can go way over the top. The Loki thing doesn't really go over the top. It's trying to win on the margin. So if you like technical small Marvel Snap, if you liked old tech, old Loki, it's going to be the list for you. Props to Butt for that one, by the way. As we go on, still at S tier, we have the KM Worst Phantom X deck. This is, in my opinion, one of the top 3 to 5 decks of Marvel Snap. I think this is incredible. I had Infinite with it for the last 2 seasons. I have a 70% win rate at Infinite with it currently. I think this list is completely disgusting. This list answers everything. Those other lists want to cheat energy. If you see Mobius, no, that's not going to happen, right? Being able to shut down all the ones that these lists play with Killmonger is amazing. Being able to Shadow King off the other big stuff decks, like the ones that are getting extra Venus power, is insane. And then being able to turn a Phantom X into a 429, I think this is one of the best lists in the game from Cam Worst. Cam Worst is a different person than Cam Best, I promise. And yeah, just a completely nasty list. I think this is utterly, utterly fantastic. I called this the best list in the game or the second best list in the game a while ago. I think I'm down to it being like just in the very, very top tier. I don't think anything's necessarily better than this. This is every bit the deck that the Aurora deck is. Just an absolute absurd amount of points to this one. Next up, the big combo deck. This deck is what you're going to do if you want to get combo points. Shadow King is everywhere. So what this deck's problem is right now is that you're snapping and opponents are leaving really, really quickly if they know what you have and they can't deal with it, right? If you play like Hope into the Mother Ascani, or like you set up to have that stick, or you set up the giant Carter or the giant Maverick, opponents are just out. Um, The Galactus version of this is very good too. Opponents are just out. Meanwhile, they're staying if they have Mobius, if they have Shadow King, if they have the right answers. So it can be harder to win cubes with this. This is the deck that we're going to look at, I think, of all day that puts up just sheerly the most points, right? You do like the storm into Carter into Maverick or into Stick, and then you drop the Brood and you just won, right? Like you just win. You can also do other shenanigans. Where you can do like the Nightcrawler Prodigy trick. You can play the Carter on an Agony. Nightcrawler Prodigy allowing you to copy Carter or Maverick as completely, or Stick as completely insane things to do. There's an absolute insane amount of stuff like that to do with this list. This is like a super crazy combo list. Hope remains like the ultimate sleeper in this list, by the way, because you play Hope on turn 3. Then on turn 4, you drop Carter or Maverick or whatever, and then you can play 2 3s on turn 5 and really, really set up to have an unbeatable last turn or an unbeatable last turn, except that Shadow King and Mobius exist. Mobius is only a problem if you Mother Ascani. If you can avoid playing Mother Ascani into the Mobius matchups, you're going to win a lot of games. This is an insanely good list. Play it. Next, this, by the way, is another Smiles list, Snap Academy YouTube friends. All right, Lady Goat. I have no idea who made this one. No one's claimed credit that I know of. This might be Gamer. You know, oh wait. Yeah, this might be Gamer. I don't believe this is Jaywalla. So I'm gonna credit Gamer for the time being because this is like a Gamer style build. This is the list that I've got least experience with on this whole tier list. Like everything else here, I've seen, I've played, I know a lot about. This is, I mean, like this isn't brain surgery, right? Your basic gist is you play Sunspot or do nothing, and then you play Black Swan or Warlock, and then you Mother Ascani, and then you skip and trigger the Warlock or the Black Swan, and then you go completely off playing She-Hulks, a bunch of free ones, Shadow King, and win. Lady Bullseye is utterly disgusting with Mother Ascani. If you can do the Lady Bullseye, especially when you do the Lady Bullseye, sorry, the Mother Ascani Grandmaster, and you have 2 free Lady Bullseyes that are 1/6s and 1/1 cost Lady Bullseye, I'm just going to suggest that you might have won that game of Marvel Snap. They're each playing for like 20 to 30 power. So it's completely nasty, and you have a million combos with this list. I think this one's a real sleeper, like genuinely a real sleeper. But again, hey, have you heard of the card Mobius and Mobius? If you have, and you're seeing a lot of it, this one falls directly down to tier 2. Next up, we have the Aurora list. We talked about it already. I'm not going to this is Ika, by the way, the Aurora list. I'm not going to redo the whole conversation that I did earlier. This is again the easiest list to play of everything we're going to talk about. It is completely nasty. It's going to be on basically all the tier lists. If you just want something easy that you're going to win tons of games with, yes, this is expensive, but it's also completely broken. Next up, we have the TWWB. It's with a White Wayne Brady's deck, along with our friend Parry Manilow. Parry, one of the best cards, not in Slay the Spire 2. All right, so this is a list that I've got a 67% win rate. I had a 70%, so I lost one more game after playing a bunch more with it. And the win rates just get harder to keep that high when you play more games. This list is utterly disgusting. It folds to Killmonger like paper, but what you get to do is basically a steady stream of one drops that you buff the crap out of. How do you buff them? Use Elsa Bloodstone and Marvel Boy and Jeff to buff them. And then you also have your scalers, right? You're able to give Angela +2 power every time, Bishop +2 power every time with Venus. This is Venus galore. Those ramp decks hate the Shang-Chi. I took 8 from one of those ramp decks yesterday using the Shang-Chi. Shang is completely nasty because no one plays around him. Like, this is a deck that should be more popular, but because players like Cam sort of poo-pooed it until he finally came around and said it's one of the best decks, a lot of people aren't playing as much of it. It's a tier 1 deck. This is actually fantastic. Welcome to the meta, Lockheed. Hell yeah. All right, next up we have Little Green. This is the Kuhn deck. Kuhn is a Marvel Snap player who left the game long ago, returned to the game, got the cards he could, and built a move list. This move list is built largely around making a big old Penny Parker. Sorry, big old Penny Parker. Big old multiple man, using Penny Parker, using Aranya, using whatever you can. If you can do that, you can using the Spider-Man. You can also win by making a giant Human Torch. You can also win by like making a moving Spider-Punk enough. If you get any of those going and you're able to steal a lane with them, Juggernaut or Iska can steal another lane. Iska in this lane is sort of like your extra Juggernaut. It's really good if with even a little ramp from like an Aranya. Those doubles are completely silly. You have all the move cards, you have all the power. This one is a nasty list. This is the list that I've struggled the most to play personally. I've of these that I've played, but it is still a genuinely super strong thing if you like Techno Marvel Snap. For a long, long time, Move Bounce was the best deck, and a bunch of people learned it, and like then it got nerfed and people got mad. If you miss Move Bounce, play this list. You will feel right at home. Next up, we have the Unhelpful Yoda. We talked about this list already. I'm not going to belabor the point. It's the Super Giant list. Hooray, the Super Giant list. Cool. This one won Golden Gauntlet. It's still great. We talked about it in the first section. Before we get to the next series of decks, if you haven't hit a sub, left a like, or left a comment, please do so. It would mean so much if you left us that support. All right. The Marvel Snap Untapped.gg tier list is based on whatchamacallit. It's based on I can speak. I swear I can speak, friends. Like I've made YouTube videos before. This isn't my first one. It's based on the stats of the Untapped tracker, and it's based on cube rate. Now, I decided to go through and see the things that had a high enough win rate to sort of overrule cube rate for this week's video. You can let me know in the comments, by the way, if you like that or hate it, but I thought it would give us some more variety of decks, and we still have sleepers at the end of this. So what we're going to look at first is we're looking at last 7 days, 2400. Actually, I didn't do this. I hit last patch and 1200 because people have been complaining that 2400 is too high. Last patch and 1200. At top 50% infinite, see, you can see 11 days of data. That's last patch. 1600 and then top 10% infinite. Apparently, we're starting with top 10%. We have the Victoria Hand deck, and this one is really interesting, right? This is one based off the Sizer version that has a crazy good cube rate, but please note, no Sasquatch, no Linlier Iron Fist. This one isn't doing anything extra cute, right? It's just saying I'm going to make as many Victoria Hands as possible. I'm also going to have Gambit as an extra backup plan. Really good with Invisible Woman and Shadow King. That's it. Not a million backup plans, no Sasquatch. Gambit is fine, but Gambit Horseman of Death isn't the point. This one is built around Victoria Hand being broken. That's a good place to go for this deck. A lot of people really like the Sasquatch version. The Sasquatch version introduces a major weakness that this version just lacks. Still a phenomenal deck, still tier 1, according to Untapped Stats at top 10% infinite. Alright. I mean, yeah, this deck's really good, right? Like we know that. We've talked about it 8 times. Again, if I had to pick one deck as the best deck in the game, it's the Aurora list right now. It won the tournament yesterday. I think it's the class of the game. Venus has too many targets here. Oh, also Spider-Ham is the most annoying card in the world. There's so many little combo decks, right? And Spider-Ham just hitting the wrong thing is a nightmare. Hey, another list we talked about. If I had to pick a second best list in the game, like gun to my head, it'd be the Suji list, right? 390 games, 59% win rate. Also, please note, um, lowish cube rate, right? But that top version of this had a higher cube rate, really low cube rate, but wins a lot, right? This one's cube rate is really rough. It's the biggest thing holding it back. We okay, sorry. Really solid cube rate, 0.34. 59% win rate, 390 games. It's a cook. It's a beast of a cook. This is the other place to go if you just want something solved where you don't have to think about any of the pieces in the deck and you can just win. Next up, we have the top 50% infinite. I can't believe I messed those two up. Where we are joined by the Bucky deck. The Bucky deck is sorry, the Bucky deck. The Phantom X deck is in top 50. I messed up that whole part of this, huh? Whatever. So top 10, top 10, top 10, one more top 10. I don't know what order I have these in. One more top 10% infinite. This is when I was like, all right, 50, what's the difference between 57% and 56.5 at this rate with a slightly lower cube rate? And we ended up with the Phantom X deck. The Phantom X deck is right there with anything else. Again, this would be my third best deck of everything we've talked about here. Mobius is insanely good. Killmonger is insanely good. Gambit is amazing after Killmonger. Shadow King is game breaking. And then you have a 419 and a 29 and a 27 and so on, and you win. All right, now I don't. This is okay. This is gonna be. I don't know how this happened. Phantom X, Rocks, Aurora are the decks that Phantom X, Rocks, and Aurora are the top 50% infinite decks. I don't know why this order happened. I don't know what happened with this order. Maybe the cat stood on my keyboard, whatever. From ranks 90 to 99, we have a virus deck. This is the good old Gaming with Flash X version of the virus deck. It is literally one card different. This was everywhere last season. It is replacing Mobius and Mobius with Quinjet. So you lose a little bit of mirror matchup equity. You lose a little bit of equity into those other decks, and instead you just say, I'm going to play the big stuff with the cheap Teo virus. If you want to hit infinite, this is still one of the best ways. If anyone's coming over the top of you, you run. If they're not coming over the top of you, well, you're basically impossible to match with points. All right, ignore that. Which deck is your favorite? Which is missing is our season pass question. But now we continue on. The only other deck. Oh my god, I don't even know what this is. The only other decks here, we're going to look at some cool low sample size stuff. That's what I want to do. Yeesh. I don't know what happened to my organization for that section. Whatever. I'm going to keep going because Brady's going to kill me if I don't get this video up soon. At 39 games at 74% win rate, we have this absolute weird monstrosity, a Doom 2099 Professor X deck. Hey, friends, those cards don't really go together. However, both cards really like Storm, right? If you can steal a Storm lane with an Iska, you can potentially get another Professor X lane and win. You can also use Iska into Professor X. Either one of those wins. You can just play Doom 2099 and win by going Sandman into Leader, Sandman into Galactus. Win that way. Your Moondragon with one card a turn is great. I have no idea who made this or where it came from, but it's doing really, really well at top 10% Infinite. Very, very cool list. As we continue along, Namor, the Submariner, is in a weird devil dinosaur mother Ascani list. What? I don't know who this is. Either this is completely wild. 70% win rate, 40 games at top 10% infinite is just a gross number. That is very strong. This one is again doing the same basic stuff where we're just trying to get the extra power with Submariner and Clea. With Marvel Boy, we don't bother with the Venus. Instead, we're going to say, what if we just Mother Ascani the damn thing? Really good. If we can Mother Ascani the Submariner, by the way, we're going to get the extra copies. Really good with Devil Dinosaur, who cares about all these extra cards in our hands. Very cool stuff. Glad to see these. Like, all right, if you told me a month ago that Marvel Boy, Penny Parker, not in Man Spider, and Starhawk would be potentially meta cards, I would have been like, what? And then Joaquin Torres and Devil Dino in the same deck? This one is so cool. I'm going to need to see a bigger sample because this one's so weird, but still very cool stuff. Next up, this list, by the way, should have been at the top 50% infinite and top 10% infinite, except the stats aren't there. This is the highest win rate thing in the game right now. I just went like 10-2 with it yesterday, and my two losses were just like early snap retreats. If this deck sticks around, and if you're good at it, you're just going to put up a million points. It's completely nasty how good this is. I think this is Weapon X is a meta card right now in this list. It is genuinely great. You're getting 13 power Weapon X's, and people are gonna try and Shadow King that. And let me just tell you, you have the cards Fuse and Death, so you don't care. You get a million points on everything in this list. All of a sudden, the Dormammu guessing game on the last turn, as long as you're decent at that Dormammu guessing game, where you're going to Dormammu, they're going to think you're going to get rid of your two lowest cost things. You don't have to. You can get rid of two decent things and steal another lane. So many points, so good. I love this list. This is a list that this is like the ultimate sleeper right now. Play this list. All right, I don't know what this is. Another low sample size friend. We've got some Move Professor X, a mini Move Professor X with Galactus is doing really well. This is from our friend the Pirate King Tucker. I'm 99% sure. Very cool stuff. A couple of these did really really well in yesterday's tournament as well. So if you would like to play some powerful stuff where you just move a bunch of cards, gain some power, and then lock opponents out using Professor X Negasonic shenanigans, this is a list for you. Play it, live it, love it. You'll be a happy camper. Really really good power in this. Everyone stopped playing the mini move decks. The mini move decks are still top tier. Fastball special. Doing great work at pre-infinite. This is pre-infinite stats, I promise. 72% win rate, 32 games. Not a million games, but hey, if you win 72% of your games at in the 90s, guess what you are, friend? You're infinite. This is the Jet version that runs Phoenix Force. This actually, in fact, because it's 32 games, might just be Jet stats. You have a million, like Phoenix Force is basically a way to get extra on reveals here. You get extra on reveals, you throw the giant Black Panther at opponents, you throw the Nimrod at opponents, you get a million Nimrods, and you win the game. Very cool list, really simple stuff. We've covered this like 5 times, but still, this is a solved list that is incredibly strong. If you combo off, nothing matches your points. We got a move list. We got another move list, so it's not just Professor X and Galactus. You can also just play with what? Shang-Chi, Iska, and Thing? That's a really cool version of the list. I like this list better than this list, just for the record. Why do I like this list better? Because Venus. Venus saying Batrock gets +3, Craven gets +3, Sam gets +3, Hydra Stomper doesn't care. Thing gets +3, Iska gets the extra 1, Drax gets the extra 1. Those are all amazing things that win you games of Marvel Snap. I think this list is genuinely tier 1, like genuinely top tier, as top tiers all get out. A must-play deck if you have access to it. This one I think expect to be really good even when the numbers ramp up. All right, we're going to continue on. Now we're back. It's actually showing us, thank goodness, more low sample stuff. Submariner, what? Where the pure buff in 36 games, 78% win rate? Why the hell not? No Surfer. Let's just buff the crap out of things. What are we buffing? What if we do Silver Surfer with Gwenpool or Grandmaster with Gwenpool? What if we can do that with Mr. Sinister? That seems like a probably good thing, right? Game winning. We can also Grandmaster off that Sinister, get an extra clone that's really big. Submariner gives us all sorts of optionality here too. What a cool list. What a cool list. I don't know what else to say. I don't expect this one to be great long term, but it is in a really, really good place right now. We continue on to the Thanos deck. Again, I think this is Ika's old deck, but this one's running Kyra to stop all the Killmonger. And then it's just saying, I'm going to fill the lanes. My Juggernaut's going to be an 8-power card. And when I fill those lanes, I'm going to be able to make a cheap Sasquatch and cheap everything else. This one is, in a weird way, a budget list, right? As budget as you get for Thanos. Because, like, I guess the whole top row is expensive. I lied. This list is stupidly expensive. Everything but Lockjaw is higher than Series 3. So I lied. This is a really, really expensive list, but it's still really cool to see Thanos doing so well in ranks 90 to 99. We continue on to one more. I think this is hilarious. If you go Quicksilver into Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings, you are guaranteed a Superior Spider-Man buff energy, right? Unless they Shadow King you or something. You know what else can be really good here? Wiccan. Because you have the turn 1 and the turn 2, so you get either the energy from Superior or you get the energy from Wiccan, and that's going to allow you to play Fin Fang Foom if you want to. You have a million other things to do between like end game Shang-Chi, Juggernaut and Shang-Chi plays, Cosmic Ghost Rider to disrupt. This one is nasty. I don't know who made this one, but I really love it. And look, Mr. Fantastic First Steps is still a card, y'all. The only downside this list has is you're not super likely to draw the right stuff because you have Shang-Chi and Quicksilver. But even with that, this is one of the cooler lists around. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, hit a sub, leave a like, leave a comment, and check out our Patreon, patreon.com/snapjudgments. Thanks. All right, thank you to Code, Weaponized Burnout, LAB Inc., Iron Frostman, Hotan Everett, Ryan Burke, Ryan with Snapper, Roman, Gopher Kev, Kertix Lee, Quarry, Kazushi, Kellen B, Archangel 3K, Kenny Logs, Danger, The Kinger Bros, Kevsy Hoda, Cables, Dirty Casual, Dark Moogle, Mr. Kerfuffle, The Philly Rap, Co. The Biz of Black Sheep 23, CBG and Jessica Gamble, Slush Death, Pyro, Hallowed, Werewolf, Bill 2 Tilt, Clam, David Wingfield, Just Names Martin, Matt B, William Billy Nix, Charles Jacob Washington, Roman numeral Foe, Jonesy Snap 22, Zanzones, One Big Man, Steve O, Shino, Ted Pro, Haplo, Quid Pro Joe, Snapchat Scissors Joe, Aki Akilar, Slam 6, Spectrum X, Hoot, Matt H, DJ McKay, Jinx, Norman Flex, Nick the Geeky, Toxic Soul King, King Canada, JJ Father Newman, Two Ties, Great Lord as the Pregnant Tucker, and of course Gunny T, where the T stands for Brady got a deck on all the tier lists. Ain't that cool? I'll see y'all later for another Snap Take. Much love, my friends. Peace.